And within a couple weeks, we had 40% of the students using the app. And there was an article that came out and Time Magazine picked it up and it just went viral. Like BBC, Fox, Yahoo, MTV all started writing articles and we had no idea what to do and it was just thrilling and so exciting.
Hi, I'm Allison Leopold-Tilly, and I'm a partner here at Pillsbury Law in the Silicon Valley. I work with technology companies, from the two guys walking in the door with an idea to multinational public companies. We're here today with Rob and Mitch, and we're going to talk about how you guys came up with this crazy idea and turned it into an app that's used by millions of college students around the country on a daily basis. Our conversation today is going to be part of our ongoing series that we're having with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and trailblazers, and the stories behind the companies they've built. Well, thanks for coming today, guys. And I think we'll start. I know what Pocket Points does, but I'm wondering, when you started the company, what was the problem that you were trying to address? Oh wait, sorry, getting this text here now.
Yeah, well, we saw an obvious problem with students just constantly being on their cell phones in class, and you don't go to class to pay attention to your phone, you go to pay attention to the teacher. And so the problem was really obvious for us, and then at that point it was, how do we solve it?
Let's explain for people a little bit more about how Pocket Points works, because they might not be familiar with it.
Yeah, so Pocket Points rewards students for not using their phone in class. We incentivize them with local and online deals so they can save money in their college town.
So Pocket Points, how did you guys come up with the name?
Yeah, we struggled for a while to figure out what we were going to call the app. We knew what we wanted it to be, but we didn't know what we wanted to call it. And we had a bunch of horrible names. And I was at my apartment, and I think I was on the phone with Rob, and one of my roommates, Brody Marino, was just sitting around, and he heard me talking about the app, and he just spouted out Pocket Points. And when he said that, it was a no-brainer. It was just, that's what we're going to call it. I told Rob, I was like, yep, that's it.
And what did you do for your next steps? How did you really get things going?
Yeah, so when we started, we knew we really had to start executing. So we thought, what were kind of the roadblocks to make this happen? So we started talking with teachers and professors and kind of figured out, we need to try to create the product, try to solve the technology, and then see if there's a business behind it.
And I think you were going to do things differently in the beginning.
At first we were going to use it as a tool for the teachers, and then we kind of had this light bulb moment of, wow, businesses are paying to give coupons in magazines and newspapers, well, we could do that. And so once we kind of saw how that was coming into fruition, we decided to make that the road we're taking.
So are there any key events in the starting of the company that really stick in your mind as being a turning point?
Yeah, we went to lunch with Chris Friedland, and we knew we wanted to get an investment from him. And he was on his phone the whole time, and we're like, dude, you're the problem. And he wasn't paying attention. Then we told him some of the numbers. We're like, yeah, 30% of the Chico students are using this. And he was, blown away. And he went to the bathroom and he came back and he's like, I want to invest in you guys.
So if you had to do it all over again, and given what you've learned now, what would you do differently next time?
I think surrounding yourself with people better than you and people who have different strengths than you is super important. So then as you find new challenges, you're able to overcome them a lot easier.
Yeah, I'd agree with Rob. I think the term the bozo explosion is real, and if you're hiring B players, they're going to hire C players, and the C players are going to hire D players. And so making sure that we're constantly hiring people better than us, especially because we're first-time founders, is so important. And you're only as good as your weakest link. So that's something that we've gotten better at, and we're going to continue to be really focused on.
So you said a professor was very helpful for you, and then you met various different potential investors. You met Chris Friedland, who you've mentioned a couple of times. He started Faucets Direct, which was, I thought it was a great idea. He started from the back room of a dusty plumbing store, selling faucets online, and has built this huge online home improvement business. Pretty awesome, successful business, great mentor to have. Who else did you meet along the way that helped you get where you are?
Yeah, so when we met Chris, kind of was a huge pivotal moment where it unlocked doors to the market or the industry that we were kind of getting ourselves into. So fortunate enough, as we kind of grew the business and realized that there's roadblocks along the way, Chris introduced us to Allison, so we were able to kind of get through more of the fundraise process and get introduced to even more investors, and knowing that the people that we work with have so many connections and they're so deep into the industry that we're able to just bounce ideas.
I think Chris introed us, and it's been so valuable to have you and Pillsbury team on our side because as an entrepreneur, you have to do a lot of delegation. You can't do everything, and Rob and I don't know anything about legal, so.
That's okay, I can't code.
So having you, obviously, and the team has just been invaluable.
Well, thank you. What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs trying to start a business?
Yeah, the advice I'd give them is just go for it. When you have a good idea and you really are passionate about a problem that you're trying to solve, just go and make it happen. I think Rob and I have been really good about being very actionable and making sure when there's a problem we go and we solve it right away.
And how do you know you have a good idea?
I think even if it's a bad idea, I think it can still be successful. So the biggest thing is just getting people's feedback, right? Whether you're talking to your friends, whether you're talking to your family, or whoever it would be, just putting something out there and allowing people to see it or feel it allows you to get some feedback. And so that was one of the things that we have heard so many times, that our idea was bad. And that was one of the things where it's like, you do what? It didn't make sense for a lot of people. And so the numbers didn't lie. When we put it out there and people used it and people saw value in it, that's really what created, the product in a sense, or the company, and really evolved it.
I think it's really important not to get too high and not to get too low. I remember when we were first coming up with the idea, I was going and talking to teachers, and one of the teachers was basically telling me this is the worst idea he's ever heard. And then I was a little bit deflated, but I walked down the hall and talked to another guy who had his door open, and he was just raving about how excellent of an idea this was and how we have to do it. And so that was a good lesson in just seeing, you got to take everyone's advice with a grain of salt. If you really believe in what you're doing, just go for it, because sometimes what may seem like the worst idea actually becomes the best business.
Thanks, Rob and Mitch. We appreciate your time. Stay tuned for more episodes of Pillsbury Startup, stories of visionaries, trailblazers, and entrepreneurs and the companies they've built.